And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to have you here, Sasha. How are you?
Thank you. It's good to be back here with you, Timothy. Thank you.
Oh, it's so exciting. We were talking before because of the things I've learned from you, it has gave me a whole new understanding on things that I wouldn't understand. Why certain things annoy me, other things I'm like, okay, like we were talking just before the. Am I the only one here with eyes? Am I the only why? You know. So oh, the internet going crazy. God, please let the internet don't go too crazy on me today. Okay, so we're ready. Yes. So I don't want to say anything. I'm going to let you do the introduction, and then we'll go deeper into what you're going to talk to us about, because it's about love styles, ways of showing love, and ways of showing sexuality, and so on. Oh, we've got Tammy here. Hi,
Great.
Tammy.
Hi. Awesome. Hi, Tammy. Yeah, we're not going to focus on the love languages as much today. We're going to focus on the erotic blueprints, but I love to have the love languages as a juxtaposition to understand what these erotic blueprints are, because a lot more people know the love languages and about Gary Chapman's 5 love languages than they do these sex languages or intimacy languages, the erotic blueprints. And to me, these are both modalities that are absolutely essential to expand and heal not just your own sexuality and erotic life and your love life, your sex and love life, but and intimacy in general, but certainly to be expressed in your life as a whole, to understand yourself as a being of how you actually like to receive love. Those are the love languages, right? Is an incredible information and wealth of knowledge to have, to be able to share that with a partner and to understand whether it's a partner or your children or your parents or whoever, how is it that they most feel loved? And to understand that through the love languages. And there's 5 love languages, but that's all I'm going to say about love languages for now. You can find the book by Gary Chapman and easily get that information. So the blueprint came later. Yeah, the blueprints came later. And it was Jaiya Ma, who is a world-renowned sexologist. She's been my latest and greatest mentor. I became a licensed erotic blueprint coach through her. And Jaiya created, in discovering how her primary relationship was really falling apart, and she recognized and came up with these 5 intimacy languages that saved her marriage, and since have saved thousands of marriages. I think last I heard, I think it was almost 500,000 people have taken the erotic blueprint quiz, which I will put in the link. If it's not, it should already be there. It's in the link under this video. So you can take it through my website that links to Jaiya's. And it's a free quiz. And it gives you this incredible wealth of information to have this awareness of what your percentages of the 5 erotic blueprints are. And it's telling you essentially, well, once you come to understand the blueprints, what the information is giving you is how you are erotically wired, what uniquely turns you on. And that's going to be very different usually from others. And especially, we tend to have in relationships a lot of polarity is sexy. So we'll be, with partners that are the opposite or very different. Maybe they're not opposite, but they're very different combination of love languages or erotic blueprints. And so a lot of relationship issues actually are just like with languages, right? Speaking different languages, it's a translation issue rather than incompatibility. Yeah.
Yes. Because yes, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, I don't think that. So tell me, like I know that the internet is going crazy. So tell me, Tammy, or are we allowed to know? Because maybe you don't want us to know, but if you want us to know, can you please tell us which one, or not? If you don't want to tell us the exact percentages, maybe you could tell us like how the test went, which were the dominant ones, and which were the less dominant languages. Okay. In the meanwhile, yes, continue, Sasha.
Okay.
Oh, she could tell me the truth.
We'll do just a quick intro of the five erotic blueprints. So again, Jaiya created these and has licensed a couple hundred coaches now in this modality. It's worldwide, and essentially these 5 blueprints, when you take the quiz, you're going to see different percentages for each one. And it's really important to actually have in my opinion, to go really deep with this, you need the percentages and to have like a coach that can help you with understanding this information. So I offer programs and sessions and so forth, and Jaiya's programs. And you can see all that on my website under the Erotic Blueprint part, and that's where the quiz is too. So essentially we'll do what I love about all of Jaiya's work, as well as how I also do most of my sex and intimacy and relationship coaching, is that it's somatically based. So let's do a somatically based practice of actually, I'm going to walk you through each of a blueprint, a little introduction, but we're actually going to do the blueprint on ourselves as we're doing it. So, and we'll keep it PG, I know, because we're on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to be thrown out.
So we'll keep it PG. So first we can just start with the first blueprint would be energetic. An energetic touch, right, is hovering and light touch on the body. So if you're willing, you can play along and try it out. And notice, if you tune into your body, does your body enjoy energetic touch? Right? Playing, it's like barely touching the hair on the body. And, energetic can be like way out here. Energetics can have orgasm from energetic touch, from like the wind, from singing bowls. That can also be sensual, but essentially like energetic, think like kind of, more new agey woo-woo almost, but it's not even that. It's like a lot of people that have that tend to have high energetic, but it is really this anticipation and tease that turns an energetic on, right? So like if I just reached out and like grabbed an energetic with sexual touch, they may shut down really fast.
Yes, it's just like flirting. Like someone who's more energetic likes to flirt. They don't actually like to go to action, but just the flirting gets you like in a kind of
the anticipation and tease, that can be flirting. That can be it can just be silence and eye gazing. Right? Yes. Energetics love the connection with the eyes and they may feel like sex is something more spiritual, right? And that they need more connection and slowness and anticipation and tease and, different energetic play to get aroused. So that's very different than what most of us have been taught is like sexual, right? We've only been taught like 2 blueprints, or maybe more than that, but not really. But this is definitely another thing I'll just back up and say is that the importance to the blueprints is that there isn't one that's like better than the other, and they're all really, really amazing and important. And the idea actually from where I stand and from what I teach is, how about learning how to play in all of them? And that is one of the blueprints, is how to play in all of them. So we'll get to that one at the last one I do. But so you get the sense of like, does my body like energetic touch, right? And then you can slowly find some skin and come down on the body and shift to a very slow sensual touch. Does your body like sensual touch? And now sensual touch is all about orgasm and arousal through the senses. The sensual blueprint is like an orgasm through the taste of something, the smell, right? Any of the senses can bring arousal and orgasm if it's something that is appealing to them, right? They can just as easily get shut down if it's something not appealing. Like if their partner has bad breath, or they may not like fluids that much, that could be messy for them. There could be, sensuals tend to need just the right temperature, right? So it's that, it's like the sensual of your environment. And, you know, even just, for me, I have all the blueprints pretty high, but the sensual is like, my environment needs to be clean and it needs to be attractive for me to be able to be comfortable and happy in it. It needs to have pieces of nature and alive plants and crystals. Crystals are more energetic, and aromatherapy, right? And a soft, fluffy kitty cat.
Yes, and candles.
Yes, exactly, right?
Yes, yes.
So, you know, if you don't have high sensual, you don't really give a shit about some of the stuff, right? That's not your turn on. It's just not how you're wired. But if you are trying to flirt with or have an erotic experience with a sensual, you need to know that that sensual most likely needs to relax before intimacy, right? So to be able to, and they may need a toggle, which is an activity to take them out of their head, because we're not going to go into the shadows today of every blueprint, but there's like the positive sides and then there's the shadows. And so I work with my clients of helping them learn how to feed themselves and their partners out of the shadows and into the positive sides of the blueprint. So the sensual, the shadow side, right? One of them would be their shutdown will be due to being stuck in their head and worrying and projecting things out onto their partner and just not being able to get in the body, or being in the body and then they shut down from something that they don't like or something that, you know, triggers them, and then their orgasm's gone. So so a sensual, like if I was dating a sensual and I was going to have like an evening date with them, when they came in the door, I would encourage them to go take a nice bath and like relax. And then I would like set up the room like really beautifully and make sure that I had their favorite snacks and drinks and things set up in a way that the sensual could relax. And then I'd start with like some massage, right? The sensual is like,
oh, you're so smart.
right?
Yeah. Because I'm like, okay, so I think you could seduce everybody because you're because you're describing my dream scenario. So you can create the dream scenario of everyone. So that means that you actually can seduce anyone because you know psychological profile and you know everything. It's amazing.
As long as they've taken the quiz and I have their results, I could probably do a pretty good job. And actually, I've gotten, you know, the more that you experience the blueprints in your life, in your body, like I have been in this deep immersion for like 6 years with the blueprints. I'm generally pretty right on with guessing people's blueprints as I get to know them a little bit. I'm like, oh, like, you know, you have high this or yeah. Now I will say though, the blueprints do change over time because we all evolve in different sexuality stages in our life. Hormones change, relationships end, trauma happens, trauma's relived, babies come, all kinds of things can affect these blueprints. So we generally do have these like imprinting from childhood, but they are fluid and can change and do change. And again, I like to teach, like, why not learn how to play in all of them? Because that's the most fun.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So then we'll switch to the next blueprint is the one that is most kind of, you know, given to us culturally as like, this is what sex is, right? It's the sexual blueprint. And the sexual blueprint especially has been kind of like men are sexual and women are sensual. Women like romance and flowers and are sensual, and you know, more testosterone-based male bodies are sexual. And this is just, again, socialization and a very untrue framework, because pretty much all genders and all of us, there is, so far from the quiz, a lot more evidence that says there's an equal kind of experience in all the blueprints across all of, you know, genders, nationalities, everything. So we all have these different blueprints, and it's not about like, you know, this genderization of a certain ones in each type of thing, right? So the sexual blueprint, right, is like, so sexual touch, I would be like, oh, touch my breast, touch my pussy, touch somewhere on my body that's sexual, right? And you would do it fast and with penetrative kind of energy. Or even sexual can be just like the lips, right? Playing with the lips, right? All of anything that's like direct and with the intent of like sexual energy, right? When I'm like in sexual mode, it's like very different than sensual, right? Sensual, and then it's like sexual. And the sexual is like, let's do it now. Like, I want to come, let's go now. Like 0 to 60 is the energy. We're going to get to that one next, Tammy.
Yeah. That's okay. It's just like I just was trying to make the labels and I touched, you know, the comments. But we're going to the comments later.
Yes.
Me bad.
That's okay. Yeah. So the sexual is 0 to 60. They like naked bodies, maybe porn, visual stimulation, very much like needs. So sensual needs relaxation, generally, for sex. The sexual needs sex to relax. Can we see how that could be an issue between a high sensual and high sexual partner?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. So, and then like, yes, I mean, you're pinpointing it like, whoa.
Yeah, this stuff is brilliant. It is so helpful. And I personally, you know, look at like my, you know, life, and I should have been taught as a, you know, all of us, like elementary school and before, the love languages, to know how to express to express love and so forth. And then the blueprints really should be taught as sex education in a huge way, because it would save so much pain and suffering in our lives, with our own like sexual exploration, trying to understand ourselves and how we judge ourselves and what's wrong with me and so forth, right? Having this framework takes so much shame, trauma out of things, where you can just go, oh, wow, this is how I'm imprinted, and this is how I get aroused, and this is my line of least resistance for arousal, and these are the places I've challenged, and I'd like to be out of the shadows, and I'd like to try, you know, some new things, and like, and then you can learn it all the touch on your body, and you learn how to feed yourself. So if you're single, you know, I'm single. That's what I've been doing for a long time, you know, feeding myself each day. And then, you know, teaching others when you have a partner. So if the sexual, right? If the sexual is like, the positive side is not so much shame, very direct. Let's just do it. I like to come a lot. Let's go. Right. But the shadow side of that can be, they miss the journey, right? They go from 0 to 60 so fast that they miss the ride in a big way.
Because I can imagine, because it's so, I mean, it's I can imagine what you said before, that this has saved like 500,000 marriages. I can imagine that completely, because like this is so valuable to know this, that this would avoid so many fights and struggles. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, you want sex in the look at this house. Look at this house. I mean, are you kidding? Like, while the other person, you know, it's like, okay, when my stress is gone, now we can, you know, think about cleaning, or so it's
exactly. And it makes it fun and playful, because you can call out your partner and you can say, you know, oh wow, you're really in the sensual shadow today, or in the like, right? And how can we work with that? And what do you need? How can we feed you out of that shadow side? So once you know all the shadows, you can be looking at that way. And then also, how do we feed more of the positive, right? I assigned to my clients feeding themselves in the love languages and the blueprints, and feeding their partners, and get them into a flow where it's like something that they start to do every week, that it's like part of their life becomes this feeding, like feeding. And they'll notice when they're super unresourced and having major shit going on, it's like, oh, well, you know, here's where the shadows are coming all in, right? Where you're stuck in, and what's happening with that, and how to, again, feed them back into a positive side again.
It's amazing, because especially because I'm thinking about myself. If I'm in trouble, or I'm having financial problems, I cannot imagine how you could want to have sex when you have problems. I'm like, for me, that's like, like, what you like? For me, that's like something from another world. You know, I've got these bills, and you're talking about sex to me. You know, start paying bills, and then we'll talk. You know, so I can like so. Oh man, it's like I said, it's like blow my mind, you know?
I'm like, let's take the bills and have sex on top of them. And
no, I mean,
I pay the bills if we do some sex magic and do some bills.
Yes. Oh man, I mean, okay, so we're going to the next one. It's like, I don't want to interrupt you, but because this is like so mind blowing, it's so much you know, it's like light bulb moments. But let's go like to the next one.
Kinky. So the kinky blueprint is, you know, had not had a lot of like really positive attention. And then the 50 Shades of Grey books came out. I don't actually think they're garbage compared. I mean, they might be fun for you to read, but they're not really about the kinky blueprint. I'll tell you that. The kinky blueprint is amazing, and the people that have high kinky generally, in the positive side, have an incredible sexual vocabulary. They're all about achieving high states of consciousness and liminal states with these sexual experiences. It's about, you know, whatever's taboo to you is kinky, right? So it's whatever's taboo to you is your kinks. So there's different types. There's two different types of kinky. There's sensation play. And again, so I'll just model it. So like kinky touch, right, could be like a scratch, right?
Yes.
Giving myself a scratch or a smack, right? And it's like, does my body like that? Because I used to think, when I was very much into like Tantra as like my main blueprint I was stuck in with the energetic and sensual, I didn't understand kinky. And then when I realized, when I started like playing with kink, I was like, my body loves that. I love to be spanked, pull my hair, scratch, like all of these, anything kinky pretty much is now of interest to me, to see whether I like it or not, because I want to expand in it, right? But it is like, it's hair pulling, throat, you know, grabbing your throat, like obviously spanking, BDSM, so forth. And just anything that's taboo, maybe having sex somewhere where you could get caught, right? But it's whatever is taboo to you. If trying new positions in the bedroom is taboo, then that's expanding your kinky, right? Yeah, so the shadow side of kinky would be that unfortunately a lot of kinky has shame, because our society has had, you know, these different perspectives on it. And luckily, like, that is really changing, which is great, because they're all equal. Energetic, sensual, sexual, kinky, they're all equal, and they're different playgrounds to play in. And isn't it more fun than just staying in one playground for your whole life, but to go and play in different playgrounds?
Okay, like here, Tammy Sprinkle saying that like she did the test.
Yeah.
She did the test and it was kinky. And I was told my answer because I thought, even though I was totally surprised with my answer, because I thought even though I have a kinky side, I resonated with all of them. Yes, but I mean, I assume the biological explanation would be like the adrenaline, right? Because we enjoy adrenaline, and maybe like I'm kinky in a certain way because I like to do, like, go to the Russian mountains, these you know, these how do you call them, these where you with like this stuff you have in Disney where they put you in this chair.
Oh,
and
yeah, I hate roller coasters. Oh God.
Yeah, roller coaster. Yes, but I love it, and at that moment I'm like, oh God, why? But I feel the attraction. And I want to go, and I want to go, and that roller coaster, and I want to go. And when I'm there, I regret it so much that I'm in there. You know?
Yeah.
Oh God, why did I do this? Why did I do this? You know? And when it's all over, after an hour, I'm starting to yearn it again. You know, it's
yeah.
And I think that's probably the same thing as kink. It's like the same hormonal or stuff. It's the
it depends. I mean, kinky is so broad. There is so many different ways to play in this blueprint. It's incredible. So it really is individual. And I would say, you know, actually a roller coaster, right, is all sensory overload. So you're a high sensual. So is it turning you on to do something really kind of kinky that's in your blueprint? That's the sensual of overwhelming all your senses at once?
Oh,
right?
That's probably the reason then.
Because a lot of kinky people would be like, no, roller coaster's not kinky to me, right?
Oh.
But it sounds like in your blueprint of this high sensual, then that is tapping that edge. So basically kinky is all about tapping the edge, right? Being on the edge, the taboo, the like hidden, or overt, actually. But it's just depending again on what your. Another piece that can be a shadow is the fetish side. Is that if you get stuck in one fetish and that's the only thing that turns you on, then that's being in the shadow and you know, trying to feed back into. And the other piece I'll just say, and then I want to address Tammy's here. The kinky is something that does need and require education. You do not want to go playing with, you know, hot oils or tying people up or doing impact play without some type of education, because you could hurt yourself or somebody else pretty easily. So, you know, to get an education in kinky, and luckily there's lots of new stuff out there. And I personally have different kinky doms and people that I work with that I can recommend if that's what you need an expansion into. So yeah, but then I'll just say, so the shapeshifter, the fifth one, is all of
I want to I'm going to acknowledge in the chat.
Yeah, I'm going to acknowledge Tammy.
Yeah. Hi, Kevin. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's go to the fifth. Yes.
Yeah, Tammy, so you may be a shapeshifter. I didn't see your percentages. So when you said you know, could feel yourself in all of them, maybe we tend to have percentages in each, although some people do have 0% or very low percent in some, and that's where I work with them to get those scores higher, right? But the shapeshifter reason to really look at the percentages of the blueprints is how high was kinky compared to shapeshifter, and how what was the range of your percentages? Because if it wasn't a big range, then you probably are actually maybe a kinky shapeshifter. So the shapeshifter is the erotic connoisseur. They play in all the playgrounds. They need a ton of variety. They have a very erotic, natural kind of awareness, and the shadow side is that they get bored easily and that they will shapeshift to please their partner's blueprints and never really get self-expressed fully in their own. The shapeshifter, there's almost a sixth type of shapeshifter where the shapeshifter can take on all the shadows of the blueprint, just like it can be in all the positive sides. And when that happens, shapeshifters can feel very depressed and actually have a lot of real blockages and issues in their life if this isn't addressed, because a shapeshifter, that's like a starving shapeshifter that's in all the negative sides, and a starving shapeshifter is desperate and not really knowing what's going on, possibly of their erotic energy is big and it needs to be expressed. And if it's in the shadow sides of everything and not being, then that could be very detrimental to a shapeshifter's health. It can be detrimental to anyone's health to not be erotically expressed and healthy. But especially with the shapeshifter, and I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of shapeshifters that are in sexless relationships, or relationships where the partner has said, I don't want to have any more intimacy. We're done, but I want to stay married or in relationship or whatever. And I've seen, I've had many clients that are shapeshifters just suffering in that situation. I don't recommend staying in that situation. Shapeshifters need to find a way. If they do stay, how do they feed themselves? How do they get out of, this trap of just because someone else has decided that their erotic life is somehow done, which good luck with that. You have one foot in the grave if that's really your choice, instead of actually using and playing with your life force for your health and vitality into your aging process. So the shapeshifters really need that. And I really work with clients to help them to become more of a shapeshifter. Because again, to be able to play in all the playgrounds and really have the highest erotic IQ and the ability to transform, to transform and play with each of these blueprints and to stack them.
Please and satisfy all kinds of different type of profiles.
Yeah.
And keep somebody happy easier, keep your partner faithful easier, keep because she can satisfy all the needs. So although and even if you have your preference, your ability to shapeshift will make you able to satisfy any partner, and keeping them happy, keeping them faithful, and all this stuff, because you know.
But I think it's most important you satisfy yourself as a lover and as a being, and then to play with others is great, but you don't have to necessarily always be about satisfying the external, right? It's that's fun, but how do we do more of a communion of play, right? Yes. Yeah, because that could go into the shadow side. If a shapeshifter's I'm going to do only this blueprint to please this person, right? Then they are missing out on their own sexual expression. And so the biggest piece I didn't say, sorry, is I get so excited. The shapeshifter is often the person that has the imprinting of being told that they are too much. You are too much. They may be called a nymphomaniac or something, or you're insatiable, right? You're insatiable. You're too much. And, that was very harmful to my well-being my whole life. I mean, even as a kid, my mother would scream at me, you're too much, right? You want too much. You're too loud. You're too everything, right? No, it's that there's not enough of anything, because I'm a shapeshifter and I like it all and more. That's just my imprinting. I have too much, and I want more. And
no, but I mean, I assume that when you're older, you learn to navigate in a way, like, and regulate in such a way that you get what you want, and still, because you have this knowledge, you will still feed anyone that you know, what the partner needs. But let me see, like here, it's like okay, I feel like I'm shapeshifted.
Yeah, I'm sensing that too, Tammy. Yep, yep, the shapeshifter. I think you have high kinky shapeshifter.
Yes.
Just even the fact that you're part of this, like the engaged Reiki and so forth, I mean, that means you have high energetic as well. You look very sensual from your picture and your smile, and you know, just so yeah, I would say you're probably more of that. Yeah.
This is important. We have to say this because it depends on your mood. That's true, because it depends, like, if even the test, if I would take the test, I think 3 days before or three days later, I wouldn't be surprised if I had like another result, because it's so much depends on the mood I am in. So yes, definitely.
And our cycles too, especially, you know, hormonal cycles, so forth, moon cycles definitely can have a huge impact. I'm aware, and you know, 1 month of my menstrual cycle, I'm aware completely of which blueprint is the overriding blueprint in each stage for me and my body, right? And how easily I can be in the shadows around certain times of month, that I have to figure out and recognize I'm way in the shadow of a blueprint with the changes going on in my body, and how to help move into the positive side again.
Yeah. We've got some questions here. Good. Like, hi ladies, I got sensual and my SO got sexual. SO is husband or something? No, significant other, probably. Yes, got sexual. How do we find balance with that? So do you have any like idea, exercise, how to?
I do. Yeah, lots. I can only just give a little bit here, but you're welcome to call me too. To set up. I do a complimentary consultation, and I offer programs, and the Erotic Blueprint programs through Jaiya, to totally expand your love life and sex life, and you know, teach you guys new erotic games to play and really go deep. But I would just say right now that if you caught a little bit earlier of, so a sensual needs, generally speaking, to relax, to have sex, and the sexual needs to have sex to relax, right? I would say to your significant other to discuss this and find out what toggles or like experiences you could put into play where your needs to relax are taken care of first, whether it's you're doing it yourself and taking a bath and doing some massage on yourself or whatever, or your significant other is. It's important that you have that time to make a shift so that you are turned on, right? And for your significant other to help with that, to provide yummy massage and feeding a beautiful dinner and playing with your hair, whatever it is that essentially feeds you, to have the environment inviting and the bed set up in the most lovely way, right? And then for helping with the sexual, it's really important that if, as a partner of a high sexual, that you assure them that they will get sex and that they can come, right? Because sometimes sexuals get like with other different blueprints where they're not getting to get their needs met, which is, I need to come. I want to come and I want to do it. Maybe it's not come, but it's like they like orgasms. They like a lot of different types of sex and they like frequency. So if your sexual partner is starving because you're not having a lot of sex and they need it, what can you do there? How can you meet them on some level to provide more sex in different ways, right? When I'm saying sex, I do not mean penis in vaginal sex or anything. I mean everything that's possible with your bodies naked and playing. It means sex to you, right? But generally, the sexual does have very specific sexual like wants, desires, and needs, and they like to get off. And so again, like what would help with that, right? Can you watch porn with them and do something interesting that's new and like give them the experience of what they need as well? And so how do you play with it and balance it? Yeah, but again, it's translation issue, not incompatibility at all. Yeah. And then in programs and things, you would learn more too of like how to combine sensual and sexual and to stack blueprints to create peak arousal in your erotic experiences. So yeah, Jaiya offers this deep course that I coach you through that's called the Erotic Blueprint Breakthrough. Or if you want to take it on your own, I also offer that too and can, but I'd appreciate if you go through my website, since you've learned about this through me instead of just hers, because if you go through my website first, obviously I'm an affiliate and a coach through her. So, but yeah, there's lots of like deep dive into this. We teach how to expand in the blueprints, how to heal the shadows of the blueprints, how to speak in the blueprints, right? So it's not just, it's embodying these different blueprints. How do you touch in each blueprint, right? How do you touch in all of them? How do you speak in all of them? And are you turning your partner on yourself on or off with how you're playing with these, right? And embodying them. So I hope that helped. I will just say a quick funny story. I remember Jaiya sharing this one. So it's like you have a high sensual man who walks up the stairs and his wife is high sexual and she's laying on the bed and she's completely naked and her legs are spread and she's like, I'm ready, right? She's like, I'm gonna like trap him and it's gonna be great, right? And he walks into the bedroom and he walks past the bed and he picks up laundry on the floor and he goes and takes it to the laundry room. And his wife starts crying like he doesn't love me anymore. He's not attracted to me, right? No, it's just not his blueprint. He needs slower, like energy, you know, like some massage. He needs to clean the laundry up first. Right? Jaiya talked about how when she was having difficulties with Ian, her partner, and Ian it was in a like high sensual phase and she was in high sexual, and she was like, she's like, I'm the, you know, queen of like of sex education. I've written 20 books on technique and I'm not having sex with my partner. And like this was as she was discovering the blueprints, right? She's high sexual, he's not, and she's getting into bed at night and crying herself to sleep because they're not having sex. And she's turning over, right? And crying herself to sleep. And he's trying to hug her to initiate his way of sex, which would have been through cuddling and connection first. See, right? And she's thinking, I got one foot out the door. This is never going to work. And he's going, I don't understand. I'm trying to get close to her. She's pulling away. Just totally different, speaking different languages, right? They're just speaking different languages.
Wow. I mean, I'm so glad to have you on the show. You cannot, I mean, I don't think that there's so many people who don't know this.
I know. I do know that it's going to start to be a movement that's going to grow and grow and grow. And I'm very grateful to be part of that. I know that Jaiya had been in LA doing some, you know, for some TV show that's going to come out. I know that there are many celebrities that Jaiya has worked with that have come out and said, you know, that they have worked with these blueprints and it saved their marriage and so forth. So I think it's just a matter of time, and that I hope that the blueprints will become as common and aware for people as you know, as it can be, because it's life-saving, you know, not just for partnership and relationship, but for me, it was life-saving to take all of the shame that I had for 30, almost 40 years of my life or so around this, like, oh, I'm too much. I want too much. I'm too much. I'm too much. Like, I'm insatiable, right? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? No, this is just my imprinting. This is just how I've always been. This is like, that's actually okay, right? It's not that I'm too much, it's that there's never enough. And that's just the way it is for a shapeshifter. And it takes a while to really like get that, because our society is still so much about like, oh no, you can't have that. You know, you can't have all of that. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? All of that shit. And it's like, I've just learned more and more of how you can.
Wow, it's like I think it's like it's important for people to be aware that because people see sex as something very superficial or frivolous, and that's why I'm so glad that you're here, and I really, really appreciate you being here, sharing this message, because this message is going to save lives, it's going to save marriages, and by saving marriages, it saves children, futures, I mean, economies. There's so, I mean,
changes the world. Yes.
Yes, it has an amazing ripple effect, and you're doing good work. I mean, you're doing very good work, and you're making the world a better place, and that's why I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really appreciate all the knowledge you're sharing with us here. Okay, so like Gabrielle is very happy.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Yay! Thank you. Yeah, bring your quiz results to the appointment.
So,
any other questions?
Let me see. Yes, people enjoy, take advantage of the situation, such as here in the house. So if you have any questions, please don't be shy. Put them in here so that Sasha can help you with them.
And I would encourage you, everyone, as you're taking in all this information, whether you do it now or after, do consider playing with a little bit of just touch of these different touches I was talking about, the different blueprints, and seeing how your body responds. And if you have a partner, you can play with them too, right? So again, energetic is like light and hovering. It's about tease and anticipation. And it's like eye connection and gazing, right? And just, I mean, you can really feel like in the energy field, right? This is like, is this erotic touch to you? Or are you like, I don't like that, right? Then you know, do I have high energetic or low energetic, right? And then with the sensual, giving yourself some massage. Do you love to eat delicious food? And how do you drink your coffee? And do you love, you know, sensual things in your environment? And yes, the roses and the flowers and the candlelight and the baths and really anything though that feels deliciously amazing to all and feeds your senses. Is that something that you're like, oh, that makes me so happy and I feel so yummy? Or are you like, nah, not so much? Like, I don't really care. I could, you know, get it on in a bathroom. I don't, you know, like a sexual is like, sure, we could like do it in a public bathroom. A sensual is probably more like,
no. And that's great that you're saying this, because like I've always thought that I'm a weirdo, because like when I would take like a glass of wine, I would keep the wine in my mouth, and it would take me like a lot of effort to swallow it, because I want to keep the wine in my mouth to save the taste. Or like I was telling you before the show, I would go usually any normal person would go to the shower and take a bath. I would take like the gel and put it in my hand and smell the gel like for 2 minutes, you know. When I smell the gel, then I'm going to I've got, and
That's
I
my
always do this like a
sensual.
secret, thinking that I'm a weirdo, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not that I'm a weirdo. I'm just very sensual, and that's why,
right.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just, so the other thing I'll just say too, right, is these are our superpowers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There are superpowers. And so to know that and to claim it and to go, oh, now I understand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It makes such a difference instead of just, oh, I'm a weirdo, something's wrong with me. And like, so much of it can be too like, oh, I'm not even really sexual because like, I just like smelling things or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah.
And I love my candles and nice stuff, being around with nice stuff. And like, I like witchy stuff. And I love my crystals and my candles.
Yes.
And yeah.
So with the energetic and sensual, you take those into the bedroom with you, right?
Yes.
And for like a shapeshifter, you want to expand and play in all the blueprints, right? So I may be having an experience of like a sexual experience with the partner, and I'm using singing bowls. I got crystals going on the body. The massage oil, the room set up beautifully. I'll have a playlist of different blueprints. I'll have some floggers and some kinky toys, right? I want it all, and I want it all in my reach.
And I noticed, like, when I'm writing scenes for my novel, like the sex scenes I write, because somehow, like when you're writing, you're describing your perfect scenario.
Yeah.
In many ways, or your most unlikely scenario, and like the protagonist like has sexual encounters with a type of demon, angel demon from a parallel reality, and he would like before sex he would like imprint symbols. They're like Reiki-like symbols, but because the protagonists they're like from they're Irish, it would be like other symbols, but very similar to Reiki symbols. The protagonist would like with his tongue would like imprint them in several parts of the body of the protagonist. So everything, like when I notice like how the way I describe sex scenes and when I describe things that are kinky, it's usually when people are feeling safe. But then it's not kinky, but that's like, because for me, like I can, how far I can go depends on how safe I feel. and that has to do with my sensual. So now I'm realizing, like, that's why I write like this. That's why I do this like this. So it's like it's an eye opener. You know, everything in my life now, a lot of things are making sense now. That yes,
you just described basically your shapeshifter of being able to play in all the blueprints through your novel. So you have a sexual scene that starts out with your high sensual, bringing the person into the scene. And then it's going to be a sexual scene. So you've got the sexual component. And then you have energetic, because energetic is actually in Tantra and in different sacred sexuality and other modalities. You do actually work with yantras of imprinting different symbols in the chakric system. In sex magic, you work with symbols in the chakras through the body while with sexual experiences. So you got like energetic, and then you're bringing in the kinky, right? Which you have the least amount in your blueprint. So it's like the topping off. Once you have everything else in, you can kind of top it off with that.
And the fun thing is that, like, because the protagonist is having like intercourse with or sexual encounters with a type of shapeshifter, a type of demon, angelic type of person, he can read her mind and know in which state she is and act accordingly. So it's like, and like, and when I'm writing this,
sex is real.
Yeah, like, so I'm getting loving this story, you know?
Sex is real.
What?
Spirit sex is real. If you're someone that is aware of entities, all the beings not in bodies, spirit sex is very real. And, you know, just like in everyday life, you want to kind of really check in as to who you're having sex with and whether you want to.
But that's what maybe we could talk about that another day because we're almost finished. But
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
I remember that once when I'm like a mess because all these I'm getting like 10 downloads at the same time.
Yes.
But it has to. What I have like in my mind is basically like when you fantasize about people and you're having sex like in the etheric realm because like and like you ask the person's permission before and so on, and you know when you do that you make sure that you don't look for somebody crazy because they're going to start in real life they're going to feel attraction for you in real life and they don't understand why suddenly they like you, and you know so I've written a story about something like similar like that too, and I mean the reason I'm writing this type of stories or this I'm getting these downloads, it's probably because of my predisposition. Yeah. So it's I mean it's now I'm all because I'm getting all these downloads, but it's fabulous.
That's the energetic, big part of the energetic. I will just take a little side note too. I'm actually working with some colleagues, and we're going to create an erotic hypnosis business. And so that's like another way to explore different energies and expansion in your life is by having either a custom made audio of something that you want to experience, or to just, we're going to have a website with all these general ones as well. But just to kind of see that a little bit too, because it's a way to work with, again, expanding your sexuality in new ways, right? Yes. And it works really well into the body, just like, you know, any type of regular hypnosis does. It can make really big changes in the subconscious in a safe way.
Yes. And like I said, because sometimes like, and I think that people who are in a situation in which they cannot leave or, and they fantasize a lot and, yes, so that's like very interesting. I have to like, because I'm getting like these downloads, I have to write things down and like so I can talk to you about it better, you know.
Yeah.
But okay, so here, Gisa, after reading this, I'll be painting walls in no time. Promise. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, you're getting distracted. Michael is getting like distracted. It's too much. But me and Michael, we're going to get used to it. I mean, it's yes, the hypnosis is a great idea. Yeah. So we're going to we've almost got our hour done. Say thank you again to Sasha, and yes, the hypnosis is great. We're looking forward to this. Just to remind everybody, I'm not sure if it's in the description box, but if in case it's not, I'm going to put it later. For you to know where you can find Sasha, and she's at the Sacred Temple Arts. Yep. There you can take the test, and after you take the test, you can get a free consultation where you talk about like even if you're alone, then you can learn about exercises to do when you're alone and to keep yourself fed when you're if you're alone, and if you're with your partner, you can do the test, both of you, and get the results, and then you can talk to Sasha, and she will give you advice about how to what kind of exercises to use, what kind of words, or what kind of things you can do to accommodate that as well. And in any way, so
it gets you on the path of your erotic expansion into the blueprints. Yeah.
Yes. I don't want to be lewd. There's not a matter of being lewd. I mean, it's all fun, and it's all. I mean, that's something like that. This lewd thing that's interesting because, like, I remember, like, I would watch these French movies, and I'm like, what? These people, I love their movies because they don't look like shamed, and I mean, they're not. They don't. I'm like, the other moves are so tasteless. Why these people are making this? But what I consider tasteless, it's not tasteless. It's just not my blueprint.
Exactly. Like, it's just high sexual blueprint.
Yes.
The so like we don't need all of the other stuff. Let's just do it now.
Yes. And I'm like, okay, so there's not something, lewdness doesn't exist. Tastelessness doesn't exist. It's just this, we have this blueprint and a different one. Like what for me is tasteless or lewd or whatever. It's just because of my blueprint, but somebody else's blueprint is like, whoa, you know, this is
exactly.
So, and that's actually the lesson we have to take from this this talk. Thank you again. We need to keep talking. We need to talk again because, like I said, you're doing a very important job. A very important job. You cannot even. I think you. I mean, you can only imagine, like for a bit, how important the job is that you're doing, and how much impact you have in the future, and the lives of many people. Okay, thank you everyone who was here. I really appreciate you being here.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks
you too.
Yes, lots of love to you, Gabrielle, and to everyone. And if everything is okay, we might have a session next week again. Okay, we have to talk about it and see how we're going to take care of it.
Sounds good.
And this is my daughter. And it's 11:11. That means that we have to stop. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.